How can prices rise everywhere, yet it still feels like everything is outpacing inflation at the same time? Inflation is supposed to explain rising prices, but today's economy feels more complicated. Some things rise slowly, some rise fast, and some seem to outperform inflation completely. In this video, we break down what's really happening behind these mixed signals and why your everyday experience may feel confusing right now. 1. Why inflation feels confusing today. Let's start with something simple. Inflation is just the rise in prices over time. But when people talk about inflation today, it often feels like the story doesn't match reality. You may hear that inflation is slowing down, but at the same time, rent is higher, food is more expensive, and some assets are growing even faster. So the question becomes, how can everything feel like it's moving differently at once? The answer is that inflation is not one single number that affects everything equally. It is an average across many different parts of the economy. Some prices move fast, some move slowly, some even go down. So what you experience depends on what you spend money on, invest in, or observe in your daily life. To understand this clearly, we need to break the economy into layers. And once you see those layers, everything starts to make more sense. 2. Inflation is uneven, not equal. A common misunderstanding is that inflation affects everything in the same way. But in reality, inflation is uneven. For example, food prices might rise faster than electronics. Housing might move differently than transportation. And services like healthcare or education may follow their own patterns. This creates a situation where people experience inflation differently depending on their lifestyle. Let's say two people live in the same city. One spends more on rent and groceries. The other spends more on technology and travel. Even if official inflation is the same for both, their personal experience can feel completely different. That's why one person may say prices are out of control, while another says things feel stable. Both can be correct in their own context. Inflation is an average, not a personal experience, and this is the first key to understanding why it feels like everything is moving at different speeds. Because in reality, it is. The economy is not one flat system. It is many moving parts happening at the same time. 3. Why some things outpace inflation. Now let's talk about something interesting. Some things don't just rise with inflation. They can rise faster than inflation. This often happens in areas like housing in high-demand cities, certain stocks, or rapidly growing industries. Why does this happen? It usually comes down to demand, scarcity, and expectations. When more people want something than what is available, prices can rise faster than average inflation. For example, if a city becomes a business hub, more people move there. Housing demand increases, but supply takes time to catch up. So prices can rise quickly. The same idea applies to financial markets. If investors expect strong future growth, they may invest more today. That can push prices higher than inflation. But this doesn't happen everywhere at the same time. Some areas grow fast, others stay slow. Some even decline. So when people say, everything is outpacing inflation, what they often notice is specific parts of the economy that feel more visible or impactful in their daily lives. 4. The role of wages and productivity. Another important piece of the puzzle is income. Wages do not always move at the same speed as prices. In some sectors, wages can grow faster due to skill shortages or strong demand. In other sectors, wage growth may be slower. For example, technology jobs in many countries have seen faster wage growth compared to traditional retail jobs. This creates a gap in how people experience inflation. If your income grows faster than prices, it may feel like you are outpacing inflation. But if your income grows slower than prices, it may feel like you are falling behind. Productivity also plays a role. When companies become more efficient, they can sometimes increase wages without raising prices as much. But this does not happen evenly across all industries. So again, we see a mixed picture. Some groups feel ahead, some feel behind, and some feel stuck in the middle. That is why the economy often feels inconsistent when you look at it from different angles. 5. Asset prices versus everyday prices. One of the biggest reasons for confusion is the difference between asset prices and everyday prices. Everyday prices include things like food, rent, electricity, and transport. Asset prices include things like real estate, stocks, and sometimes even collectibles or investments. These two categories do not always move together. In many cases, asset prices can grow much faster than inflation. For example, during periods of low interest rates or strong investment demand, stock markets and property values can rise significantly. This creates a feeling that everything is going up faster than inflation. But in reality, it is mostly asset prices leading the change. At the same time, everyday prices may rise more slowly or unevenly. This difference creates a gap between financial experience and daily life experience. Someone who owns assets may feel wealth is increasing quickly. Someone who only earns wages may feel costs are rising faster than income. Both perspectives are valid, but they reflect different parts of the economy. Understanding this separation is key to making sense of today's financial world. 6. Global supply chains and hidden effects. Another layer that affects inflation is global supply chains. In today's world, many products are made in one country, assembled in another, and sold in a third. This means inflation is not just local, it is global. If shipping costs rise, or if raw materials become expensive, prices can increase in many countries at the same time. But again, not everything is affected equally. Some industries can adapt quickly, others take longer. For example, technology products may become cheaper over time due to innovation, while energy costs may rise due to global demand changes. These differences create a mixed inflation picture. So while one part of the economy may feel expensive, another part may feel stable or even cheaper. This is why people often say, "I don't understand inflation anymore." It is because inflation is no longer a single story. It is many stories happening at once across the global system. 7. Why it feels like everything is outpacing inflation. So let's bring it all together. Why does it sometimes feel like everything is outpacing inflation at the same time? The answer is perception combined with uneven growth. People naturally notice what changes the most in their daily lives. If rent goes up, it feels very real. If grocery bills increase, it feels immediate. If investments rise, it feels exciting. But these are different parts of the economy moving at different speeds. When multiple fast-moving areas overlap in your experience, it can create the impression that everything is rising faster than inflation. But in reality, the economy is more balanced and uneven at the same time. Some parts are outpacing inflation. Some are tracking it closely. Some are even lagging behind. It is not one uniform movement. It is a patchwork of different trends happening together. And that is what makes modern inflation so hard to interpret. So what can we take away from all of this? Inflation is not a simple line that goes up or down. It is a collection of many moving parts. Prices, wages, assets, and global trade all interact in different ways. That is why it can feel like everything is rising at once, even when the data says something more balanced. Understanding this helps you see the economy with more clarity and less confusion. Instead of reacting to headlines, you can start asking better questions. Which part of the economy is changing? Is it daily expenses, assets, or specific industries? And how does that affect your personal situation? Let's pause for a second. Have you felt this confusion in your own life recently? If yes, you are not alone. If you found this breakdown helpful, you might also enjoy our next video on why salaries don't always keep up with real-world costs. So if you like simple explanations like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more calm breakdowns of the economy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.